Here we go.
Hello guys, I'm CBMF Productions and welcome back to the DC Film Retrospective. Today's film is a superhero version of Big, Shazam. This film was in development for over a decade before it hit the big screen, starting in 2008 with writer John August and director Peter Segal attached to the project, along with The Rock attached to play the villain Black Adam. But that version ended up falling through supposedly due to Warner Bros. Wanting to force a darker tone in the script due to the success of The Dark Knight at the time. The project went in limbo for the next few years until 2014, when Warner Bros. Announced their own DC universe, Shazam being one of them, with Johnson still keen on being in the film, but didn't know if he wanted to play Shazam or Black Adam, but eventually settled for Black Adam. In 2017, Warner Bros. Hired director David S. Sandberg for the project. Previously doing Lights Out for the studio, went on to do Annabelle Creation that same year. Later in that year, Zachary Levi was cast in the title role, being another actor that has played in both Marvel and DC films. The film got cast together, the film got shot and got released in the theaters in April 2019, and although it wasn't the biggest box office success, it still made money for the studio and received great reviews, being another win for DC that has since led to a sequel being greenlit and scheduled for April 2022, alongside a solo Black Adam film set for a December 2021 release, after Johnson announced that his character would not debut in the film, and rather have a whole film about his origin. But anyways, with the history out of the way, let's get into the plot. The film starts out in 1974 where a young boy, Thaddeus Savannah, is riding in a car with his dad and older brother, but then is suddenly transported into the Rock of Eternity, a magical temple from another dimension, where an old wizard, Shazam, played by Digimon Hansu, is singing for a kid with a pure heart to take his powers because the last time a kid got chosen, he ended up being evil and releasing the 7 deadly sins, who in this universe are demons, who end up killing all the other wizards, leaving Shazam being the only survivor when he trapped the sins into the Eye of Sin. Savannah is drawn to the Eye, being deemed not pure by Shazam, and is sent back to his world where he makes a fit in the car, and causes his dad to lose it and crashes their car, causing his dad to become crippled. But the sins send a message to Savannah to find them. The film cuts to modern day in Philadelphia as we follow a 14-year-old runaway foster child, Billy Batson, played by Asher Angel. Ever since he was separated from his mom when he was a toddler at a carnival for the past decade, he's run away from multiple foster homes to find his mom, but hasn't yet been successful in the search. He gives his son to yet another foster family in the Vasquez family, a loving family that has 4 other foster siblings he has to live with, but he grows attached to his superhero-obsessed foster brother, Freddie Freeman, played by Jack Dylan Glazer. One day at school, Freddie gets bullied by a couple of guys because he's crippled, so Billy fights for Freddie and ends up being chased into a subway, where he gets transported to the Rock of Eternity by Shazam on his deathbed at this point, and because of his action, he declares Billy worthy of his powers, and now whenever he says his name, Billy transforms into a powerful god that has powers in the levels of Superman, played by Zachary Levi. He runs back to his house as Shazam, and frees afraid because he doesn't know how to change back. Once they find he's a superhero with various powers, they use it for childish things like making YouTube videos, and performing stunts in front of people for fame. Meanwhile, Savannah, now all grown up and played by Mark Strong, has spent the past few decades to try and find the Rock of Eternity, and finally cracks the code and manages to release all the sins, as they use him as a vessel and make him super powerful. Afterwards, he kills his brother and father, who have both disowned him since the car accident in the opening, and the other board members of the company as he plans to take over the world. As the film progresses, Billy's relationship becomes strained with Freddie, as he uses his powers to skip school and make money, and during a show, flexing off his lightning powers, he accidentally crashes a bus off a highway and saves them. Savannah sees Shazam and demands that he give his powers. Billy doesn't as they fight, but Billy gets defeated and flies away. Savannah finds out Billy's identity and takes his foster siblings hostage. He then goes to fight Savannah because he sees his foster family as his real family, after managing to find his real mom, who reveals that she didn't lose him, but she left him intentionally at the carnival that day so long ago, because she didn't feel like she could carry the responsibility of raising Billy because she had him at 17. Billy then goes to the Rock of Eternity and manages to get the siblings out of the place as they rush to a Christmas carnival as Savannah unleashes his sins upon the crowd as Shazam goes to fight Savannah alone, but realizes he can't defeat Savannah by himself, so he manages to get all the siblings to get their powers of the other wizards via Shazam's staff, and all transform into adult superheroes as they defeat Savannah, taking his powers away from him and directing all the sins back in the Eye and returning them to their prison. Billy and his siblings are praised as heroes as they embrace themselves as a real family, and Freddie and Billy make up their friendship as they decide to use the Rock of Eternity as their lair, and Billy also manages to make a wish for Freddie to come true, by bringing Superman to his lunch table, which he discusses that he always wanted, as Crows will do a post-credit scene of Savannah in prison, as he's offered an alliance by a talking caterpillar, don't ask me why, as credits roll. This is another incredibly fun film inside this universe that's probably the best characterization inside of DCU in my opinion. The film's smaller scale from not only the rest of the films in this universe, but in the comic book genre in general. It allows for a different type of story that has a lot of great emotional weight to it, all while being a really funny comedy. Seeing Billy and Freddie play around with Shazam's powers were the best scenes of the film in my opinion. That felt natural for what any kid would do if they had the powers of Superman. Zachary Levi really sells being this kid in an adult's body, and it's so funny in this role. David Simmers does a really good job directing the film, which is fairly different from his horror movies like James Wan, and it doesn't feel out of place. The acting is great from everybody, the action is exciting, entertaining, the soundtrack is really catchy and gives the film personality along with the score, the visual effects for the most part fit the film nicely, but what brings it together is the emotional core of the film. The film hinges on Billy and Freddy's friendship, and all of it works immensely, along with a very bleak story with Billy's mom that give a sense of maturity to the superhero comedy, and the theme of family that flows throughout the film actually meaning something, because of the way the writing focuses on it so much. It's a really well crafted superhero comedy drama. This is a really good movie, but there are some things that keep it from being great in my opinion. The biggest issue I have with the film is that the friendship between Billy and Freddy is really strong, but I feel like the rest of the film gets quite sidelined in the grand scheme of things for the story. And by the end when all the foster kids become superheroes, it doesn't really feel as satisfying as it should have been. And I feel like if they developed these foster kids more for the sequel, and kept that arc for the sequel too, it could have been so much better. Another issue is Dr. Savannah. He isn't terrible and Mark Strong is good in the film, and he does pose a threat against the kids. But beyond the opening, we don't get much from him beyond his obsession with the 7 deadly sins, which were easily the worst aspect of the film. Because Sandberg's tonal shift to horror and comedy drama doesn't feel as smooth as Wan did it for Aquaman. Plus the designs aren't the best, and these weird aspects along the post-credit scene with the caterpillar felt like they should have also been saved for a sequel, where they could go more experimental, because it feels outplaced in a movie that felt more grounded than your average superhero film. The film also felt a little too long, and there are some parts of the film that could have been cut out also. Lastly, the film, like Aquaman, felt like it took too much from other comic book films, and films in general. Beyond being a superhero version of Big, it felt so much like Spider-Man Homecoming. From the personal grounded tone of the film on the villain that had horror elements, it was about family, it had tons of sequel potential, had tons of songs to fill the soundtrack, even the end credits are basically plagiarized from Homecoming, with sketch drawings and a Ramones song playing in the background. It should have been a little more original at points. Overall, Shazam is a really enjoyable and emotional film that's character-centric, and works on a lot of levels from being an exciting blockbuster, a great family drama, a funny take on the superhero genre, and more from great acting, solid writing, and directing, and overall being a pleasant movie to watch. There are aspects that hold him back from being great, like its mix of horror not feeling natural, the villain being pretty basic for these types of movies, some characters being sidelined, it knocking out some aspects from other superhero films, mainly Spider-Man Homecoming and also Chronicle, as showing off the superpowers, and some other minor details, but as a whole, it's another one for the DC universe, and I can't wait to see what they do with the sequel. I give Shazam a B+, an 8.5 out of 10, and a rented recommendation. So that's Shazam. What do you guys think about it? Leave your thoughts down in the comments, and please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. I'm CBMF Productions, and this is the last DC film to review, because justice needs to be served.